How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. Today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit before you buy a cargo trailer. If you're going to turn it into a camper, or you're just going to haul a four-wheeler in it, or just haul stuff in it for construction work or whatever. You know, our main thing is when we go to buy these is to do an inspection on the trailer. These people are getting away with it because you don't do your inspection. If you was to do an inspection or something you don't like, at the time you see it, you can tell them and they'll fix it. If they don't fix it, you just don't pay for it. But do your inspection before you pay for your trailer. A lot of times we go in the office and we pay for the trailer, and then we go out in the yard and we pick our trailer up. And we're so happy that we got a nice trailer that we don't think about inspecting the cargo trailer before we take it. We're just excited that we got one, and we're happy that we got it. We just want to go. And that is not what we want to do. We want to make sure that we inspect it before we take it. That's a big thing, because I noticed I did the cargo trailer camper build, and I got a lot of comments from different companies that how shoddy their work was. It wasn't good work, and that's really our fault. We kind of put ourselves in that position because we don't do our inspection. Now, personally, I'm going to tell you a few things I would do before you buy a cargo trailer, and I'll walk around the camper, the cargo trailer, and show you what I think you should check for before you buy it. And I think you'll find out you'll have a lot better cargo trailer, and they'll start building them better if they know you're going to do an inspection and you're not going to just run off with that trailer. I think in my case, when I bought mine, I told them I was doing YouTube videos, and I told them that before I even started, before I even bought the cargo trailer. I told them I did YouTube videos, and I had a decent amount of subscribers, and I told them I'd be posting videos on this. You know, you would think they would say, well, you know, you better make sure it's right because he's going to post videos. Well, I think in my case, somebody, you know, I've had some comments online about how I solved the issue with mine, the warranty issue, and I basically just had them just buy my warranty out because I'm going to keep posting videos on it until you do something about it. And you know, they did. And I got this trailer from Diamond Cargo, and they took care of it. They paid the price for what was wrong with it, and I didn't have any problems. But I'm hearing that a lot of other people are still having problems with other companies, and not just Diamond Cargo. This inspection is not just for them. We want to do it on every trailer, so we don't make that mistake and come home with a piece of junk trailer. We don't want to do that. So let's go over the trailer a little bit. I'll go over it with you and try to tell you what to look for and what you might need to take with you when you go to get the trailer. Alright, now the first thing I would say to take with you would be either a big piece of cardboard or a small piece of carpet, something that you can lay underneath your camper, okay? And a flashlight. Take a flashlight, a piece of carpet, or a piece of cardboard to lay down so you can inspect the underneath of your camper. What you want to do is come up to the tongue of the trailer and just jack it up as far as it'll go and get up underneath the front of it. Just crawl down underneath of it, get your flashlight, and inspect. Inspect everything, even the screws where they put them through the floor, the bottom of the floor. Make sure the floor is all your screws are where they're supposed to be. There's no big gaps or holes, because if you guys seen in my video, I had a big hole up in the front up there. I had to patch. There was a lot of stuff I had to do to the underneath of mine to get it right. So jack your front end of the trailer up first, crawl up underneath there, and look for holes. Check all the corners, especially in these corners here, in the tongue, up here in this corner. Check this corner up here, because that's where mine was bad. I had a bad spot up here in the front. I had a bad spot on both sides that were open that I had to patch. And the same thing with the back. Make sure the corners, where these corners are, that there's no holes going up through your floor, because they don't seem to get that floor in there just straight. I think half the time they use up every bit of the metal, scrap metal, everything, just to make sure they make as much money off of you as you can. So the underneath, that's the first thing I would go and check. I mean, that's the dirtiest part. Get up underneath there and make sure everything looks the way it should. Okay, number 2, visual inspection on the outside. Look at all the screws. Make sure all the screws are in. Don't, you know, if all them screws are not in, you're going to have a leak. I had some problems with mine where they put the screws in, that there was big hunks of metal sticking outside of them, and I had to break them off. And then, you know, it's just, and then tighten up the screws. And I'll tell you, these screws that they put in this camper, you can't get a star wrench. I had a hard time finding any bit that would fit in these. Really hard. So that's something that you may have to go through and tighten up them screws. Or if you're there and you see it, tell them to tighten them up, that they're not right. Go over every screw and every seam. Make sure when the seams are together, if it has a seam on your trailer, that they're tight against each other. If not, make them put another screw in it. That's really up to you. They're just going to let that thing go. They don't care whether that screw's sticking out as long as you buy it. And once you bought it, it's yours. Very hard to get the warranties out of these. Look here. This is a piece. Now, see, there's a piece of metal right there that when they screwed the screw in, it came out and it rust. You can see how that, I'm just trying to break that piece of metal off of there. Okay, I got the metal off of there, but that's another thing, you know, that rust, it'll make streaks go down your camper if you don't get that off. So inspect your outside of your camper real well and check the seams. Now, you guys are going to think I'm crazy on this one, but I'll be right back. Now, in order for us to do a thorough inspection, we need a step ladder. Take a step ladder with you. Get up on your roof, inspect your roof. That's one place they're not going to think you're going to look. Okay, I'm up on my roof, but my roof has been totally redone. When I bought it, I did not like the roof. So I restored the whole roof, and it's holding up just great. But when you go and you're looking at the seams on this, now I tore all everything that they put on, I took off. And, you know, for me, I think that would be a good practice to replace. I'm not saying maybe not the first year, but go over that roof and make sure that it's the sealer that they put over these seams. There's going to be a gray sealer. Make sure it's not peeling off. Mine I could peel off with my fingers when I first bought it. I could peel it right off. So I don't think they cleaned the roof or anything when they did it. And I do have some videos on this build, and you can see where I restored this roof. But get up and inspect your roof. I mean, look at it. If the sealer is peeling off and you don't like it, tell them. If you tell them, they either fix it or you don't buy it. That's just simple as that. Another thing you want to check is make sure your key works all the locks. You have 2 locks on your box trailer. At least this one does, because I built this into a camper and I requested this type of door. So you want to make sure that your locks open and close your door. And when you open and close your door, you want to make sure your door opens and closes real smooth. You shouldn't have any problem closing it or opening it. You don't want to hear any rubbing noise or or anything like that when you open and close your door. Now, I can't speak for the back doors because I don't have them on there, but that's something. If it's on a if it's got a garage door opener or it's got the door, just make sure they open and close nice and smooth and are not rubbing on anything. And this one here seemed to be doing pretty good. Now we're inside of my box trailer, which has already been turned into a camper. As you can see, everything's in here. But before we actually turned it into a camper, we had to take all the wood off the sides. All this wood had to come off. So when you buy your box trailer, tell them you want the inside wood screwed on. You want to use screws. Don't use nails. Mine had nails in it. I had a real hard time getting them out, and I ended up having to buy all new wood. All the wood I had to replace. So make sure that they put the screws in there. Now, after you get all the wood off, make sure that you're either in a rainstorm or you run some water on your roof or something. But I'm thinking once you get the wood off of it, you should be able to go around and look around the edges of your inside of your box trailer for any kind of water streaks. And you should be able to see them, the water streaks, coming down the walls. And I apologize because I should have done this when I didn't have this built into a camper, but that's something you want to do, because once you get it all built into a camper, you don't want to find out, hey, I got water leaks, you know. And I did. I had 2 or 3 water leaks in my camper. And if I would have built it into a camper and didn't check for water leaks, I would have been in bad shape. It wouldn't have been good, because I'd had water inside my camper, and then I get rot, then I get mildew. So make sure you go on the inside of it and check for leaks. If you have to run water on it, or if there's a big storm coming your way, get inside there and look around and make sure that there's no water leaks on the edges. Now, mine actually leaked, and I'll show you where it leaked at. I know over here's where I had my worst leaks. Was over here, right? See that seam? There's a seam right there on the inside. It ran down through there a couple places along there. Might have been where the nails went in, but it just went right down through the roof and down the wall. So make sure you check for leaks. I know you can't do that while you're buying the trailer when you first buy it, but I'll tell you what, if you take a flashlight, and if you buy it, if you're going to turn it into a camper, tell them you don't want that wood on the inside. I would just discard the wood. I mean, maybe it might save you $1 or $2, maybe, if you discard the wood. Maybe, I'm not sure. You could talk to them about that. Say, hey, if I get it with no wood on the inside, is it going to save me any money? Because in the long run, it'll save you, because you're not going to be, because you're going to insulate this thing. If you insulate it, you don't want that wood on there. You have to take it all off anyhow. And if it'll save you money, just get it without the wood on the inside, and then go around the top and look for all those, if there may be any leaks in there. So that's about what I could tell you on the inside. I don't know. Just make sure your floor is good and solid. When you walk on the floor, everything's good and solid. Now, another place I had problems, underneath of this wheel, there's a seam. This seam right here goes down, and it goes all the way down to the bottom of the trailer. You can't see it with the wheel on there. And obviously, they couldn't see it either with the wheel on there. But most of my leak came from that seam back in here. And I put screws in that seam. I put screws down through here. This is the only one that was on this side. There was no screw from this side of that tire to that side of the tire, and where them 2 pieces of metal met, and I could open it up 3 inches on both sides of the tire. Now, that means you have to crawl underneath of here and look up through there. You could reach up through there. Maybe you can even shine a flashlight through the holes of the wheel and look in there and make sure there's screws in there. If there's no screws behind that wheel, in that wheel well, on that on your trailer, you want to make sure that those screws get put on and that gets sealed up. Because when you're going down the road, there's a lot of water splashing up around this wheel. There's a ton of water splashing up the wheel. So, and if you've seen in my video, the inside of the trailer was clear full of water. And thank God that I went through a rainstorm. I'm so happy that we went through a rainstorm and we found what was there. If it would have been dry and I would have built this into a camper and wouldn't have known to take wheels off and look up underneath there to make sure it's okay, it would have been a mess. And I wouldn't have liked it at all. But make sure when you go, take your lug wrench, and I'll get the size of that wrench you're going to need, at least for this axle. Okay, now I'm going to say most of these axles are going to take the same socket in a 13/16 socket. I actually stopped on our way home and bought a new ratchet so I could have it to tighten up these lug nuts. And I stopped probably about every 50 miles or 100 miles, 50 miles at first and 100 miles, and I kept snugging them up, and they were loose. As you know, they seemed like they were pretty loose. So you want to make sure that you get you a ratchet and a 13/16 socket deep well, and you can tighten these up as you go. Now they tell me the tires that come on the trailers are not really that good. Mine are just about a year old, and they got a couple miles on them, not many, but I did end up buying another tire, a spare for it. So that's something, if you don't get a spare and you're driving a long distance, you may want to pick up a spare, and I picked mine up at Tractor Supply. I got a spare tire and a spare wheel, which cost about, I think, right around $150, $160. That was the tire and the wheel. Now this hitch here is set up with a 2-inch ball. But make sure you when you go to get your trailer, you get one of these clips to go through here, because it will not come with your trailer. And if you probably have to buy one off them, you're probably going to pay a fortune for it. So just pick one up before you go. That's something to look at before you go. And the crank on this thing, make sure that it goes all the way up, all the way down, and it goes smooth. I'm sure they'll want to hook that to your truck, and that's fine and dandy, but you just make sure that and you'll be doing that when you raise and lower your camper. So when you're checking the front of your camper underneath, you want to raise this all the way up, and then when you're checking underneath in the back, you want to lower it all the way down, so you'll know how that thing cranks. And if it takes you a little bit of time, hey, so be it. You're buying the trailer. I mean, there's not a whole lot more that I can tell you about or talk to you about. Just be careful. I mean, and do your inspection. That's the whole thing. They can't make you buy the box trailer if you don't want it. They have to either refund your money, what you put down on it, or they have to fix the problems that you're having with it. So I think I did okay on mine. And this inspection would go with any trailer, no matter what company you buy it from. Do your inspection. I don't care if it's a big company and they build the best trailers in the world. I'm still going to do an inspection, because guess what? It's my money, and I want something decent. I want at least what I paid for. At least give me what I paid for. Okay, so now that you know just a little bit about what to look for, before you go, write a list. Write a list of everything you want to take with you, and the places you want to check, like under the wheel wells, all the seams, the screws, all that. Write a list down and do a check off on that. Make sure you take a ladder with you so you can see on top of that roof. Most people ain't going to take a ladder with them to look on top of that roof, so they don't really care what that roof looks like. So take those and write everything down, and then go get your trailer. Go inspect your trailer. So hopefully with the information that I give you, you could do a good thorough inspection on your trailer and end up with a pretty good trailer. And when you go in to pay for it, I do honestly think that I signed a paper saying that I inspected my trailer. I think you will sign one. So if you sign one, you didn't do your inspection, I think they can literally get out of the warranty on them. I'm not 100% on it, but it's possible. If you said you inspected it, you signed a paper saying that you inspected it, you may not get nothing back. You looked it over, you're done. I don't need to deal with you no more. So I'm not sure whether you have to, but look and see when you fill out your papers and you're signing papers, see if you're signing a paper that says that you inspected your trailer and everything that was on it was okay. So I'm hoping that this helps somebody out there on buying a box trailer, because it seems to me like they're building them cheaper and cheaper. They're trying to cut corners and they're trying to save money, and I understand that, but don't ruin the quality. My goodness, you know, people are complaining, and once they get out there, I don't even know how some of the companies even stay in the business. I honestly don't. But I hope this video helps some of you guys out. I'd like to tell everybody thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment if you'd like. Till next time.